Hey, truth before the truth. Another video in the time capsule. These videos are a time capsule because, once again, the time capsule is for perhaps the galaxy, maybe someone later on Earth, because we are at an entrance at a point of infinite possibilities. And in those possibilities are the greatest possibilities that are right within our reach. And there's a demon possessing the entire human race and other life forms as well. And there's no opportunity in sight except within me. I'm still capable. I'm still available. I'm certain there might be others out there. There might be others out there that are you know adults, I guess you would call it. Um, Although we don't live very long, and we're meant to live at least minimum 300 years, 500 years, and that's a real shitty person. But we only poison each other and ignore everyone and focus, and we don't focus on anything but being unfocused and dumb. Uh, Instead, we live 50 to 80 years, and when you're 50, you're an old person. Being old isn't even possible because we have free will and we are humans. We removed all life on this earth to be globalized so we can, you know, live a long time with free will. We haven't yet to do anything like that. We're just singing songs, making movies, and writing books about it. And today's video concludes and brings us to a historical fact about the whole matter that a lot of people understand, and it goes to the Judaism and Christianity religion. Now, I want you to forget about religion, because a religion means it got taken over by the mass, because Christianity or Judaism or Islam isn't a religion. Anything that's a religion is something that you rely on. It's rely is on the word, is in the word, and it's for the masses who stay completely ignorant and they're trying to have some faith, which are probably and then in some cases the better half of the people who go to church or pray all day or go to their Jewish temple. It's called a Jewish temple, not a Jew temple. See, this is where we come in, because they're all connected and they make those three the religions, whoever they are. It doesn't matter. They is probably the same dumb people that are here with us. This is what this video is about. It's about Jews. Now, it might be offensive because we had a World War II and they were talking about removing Jews or murdering Jews, and what they meant by Jews with Hitler and all that stuff was just that there's a bunch of people who work only and they have sex only. Now, that's kind of what's happening in modern days now, but in modern days we're not trying to murder or kill people that way, or half-ass at least, just because whatever. Just we have a better opportunity now. We have a globalized planet, and there's a beginning possible. That means we can do whatever we want, and that's what creation is all about. So a Jew is in the first chapter of the Bible. God created the universe, and then there's a Garden of Eden. It's a garden because wizards can go from planet to planet, and wizards are probably the regular people in the universe, because they can like fly around on a broomstick and do magic spells that are just very dreamlike. abilities that are just like pretty much impossible. It's kind of what magic is in that type of magic. So it's called a garden, which is whatever planet Adam and Eve were on. So we're considering that in Earth. So they disobeyed God and they bit the apple, and they refused to go on a journey to learn what good and evil is. Now, this is what the video is about. It's about everyone since Adam and Eve being Jews. Now, so we're certain that not everyone has actually been Jews, because Jew isn't a type of people. It isn't a race of people. It isn't a tribe. There is a Jew is a term that says you are the same as Adam and Eve, and you bit the apple, and that's that. You bit the apple, and you did not stop eating the apple, and you didn't learn what good and evil is. Now, my only clue to you is that good and evil is not good and evil. Like the battle between good and evil, it's not that. That's the only term that is not what good and evil, the tree of good, of the knowledge of good and evil. I'm a skaldic writer. I'm a skald basically. If you look up the word skald, skald, if you can find a real definition, it exists in old Norwegian, pagan druid type of historical text or whatever. A skald is similar to a bard, but you can create and manifest the world with words. So, because I wrote enough and I've behaved properly enough to know that much, I do know an endless knowledge forest of good and evil. And I don't know if that's not what makes me this. I'm bringing you into what this video is about. All these things entail. The video is about me because I am the creator. I am no longer a Jew. Not only am I just figured this out as a matter of fact because I'm also the only legal individual all the way. I'm a fully legal citizen of the United States of America, and that has never happened. That's why they call it the American dream, because the forefathers failed after a full generation. They made a dream of the Bill of Rights. Now I know the entire process, and I can perform everything. Obviously I'm all alone, and that's why this is a time capsule. But I've come to realize that there's also other things I might be the only one with. But the problem is with the Jew thing is that no child is a Jew. And in this world, everyone becomes a Jew near around high school. Around high school, you became a Jew because we are fed shit. We don't rebel properly out of it, and we just churn into the same type of unconscious piece of shit. Basically, you're just like no matter how good you are in this world, you're still a piece of shit because you're not a real human, and you don't actually care, and you will not stop working. You won't stop, so you can wake up all the way, and we can stop everything. And everyone logically in their mind knows this stuff in their head, that we should stop what we're doing and figure out something better. And that's not the point of being a Jew. We're disobeying God. The adults are Jews because they disobey God. No matter what color or creed or race you are, everyone knows they're a Jew. But a child isn't a Jew. Now, what happened to me? How did I not become a Jew anymore? Well, the demon on the earth gives you moments along your path on earth, probably somewhere around senior year in high school or something like that, around there, before or after. And for a moment you become the chosen one. We're humans. We are masters of the planet, basically. A real human is the actual master of the earth, or whatever, if he knows what he's doing. So yes, that is me. But I'm certain if there were more like me, someone could do a better job. I'm certain my father was able to do a better job, but we come to this point where I think he didn't learn how to not stay a Jew. He was still part Jew. He had so much knowledge in him, and I'm thinking that's why they murdered him, because he was a fantastic Jew who would still partake in creation. It's just that a Jew disobeys God. God is the creator of our universe. That's all God is. There's nothing else you need to entail about it or say something else. That's just a big thing, and that's the only definition. There's no other sideshows. There's no other cartoons, that make it funny. They will not make sense unless you know God is the creator of our universe. So you're disobeying God. Um, and you ate the apple. So, however, maybe you do know good and evil. I'm like I do. I learned it. I'm not going to write it all down because it won't make sense to anyone. I need attention and money, and I need the position that I belong in, which would be simply a lord person. There's no lord people in the world. There's just money grubbing pieces of shit who don't spend their money and they keep taking it from the people. A lord position is someone who is separate from the rest of the species, and they basically, stand out. So you would actually listen to what I'd say. Uh, because I do know the universe and I do not disobey God, and I do know knowledge of good and evil. So, but I'm certain you could, somewhere inside of the tree of knowledge of good and evil, you could probably turn into someone that's bad, however that is. Uh, but what I'm saying is that no child on earth is a Jew, but pretty much every single adult is a Jew because we churned into it somewhere around high school. For myself, my own path, it was somewhere around right around high school when I just couldn't do anything but listen to mainstream rap and focus on basketball. I was an athletic child. I should have forced myself into football. I should have forced myself into basketball when they cut me as the best. I was the best player in the school freshman year. They cut me from the team, and I should have showed up the next day and say, "Dude, you're not going to win games without me," which was the obvious truth, And my whole class suffered from it because I'm that type of person that will bring everyone with me. You don't understand? If my momentum will bring everyone with me, and once someone like me comes about, other abilities will be evident, as in each person affects everyone within the whole. Within the whole. So. Somewhere around then, my system shut down, and I became a Jew. It's Judaism. They call themselves Jewish because they focus on that as their religion. They're Jewish. They're not actual. They are Jews, but a Jewish child in the Jewish household isn't a Jew. The parents are Jews because they're just sitting there being a piece of shit. Like all the other adults, they're basically a piece of shit. There's no better way to put it, that a Jew doesn't have to be a piece of shit. There's probably some good Jews out there. They figured out their logical conclusions. They just have not learned to let go of everything and obey God once more. A child is a child. Even if you stay a child and you don't become a Jew and you're just inaccurate, you're still obeying God by letting go and dying more mortally, accepting your fate, basically, your regular fate, not some piece of shit faith, but you're like some animal and you're roaming around and you just get tired and you become food. That's it. Circle of life. Um, so because everyone's a Jew, it's a whole nother story of why no one can speak to me, and I have to act my way through daily life. Like the only real bum in the United States of America. I live properly. I live cleanly. I'm cleaner than people. That's why I became a bum, because I'm a clean person. None of them are clean. They're all getting stinkier and stinkier, and it's turning into a gaseous Milky Way galaxy from this point on. because it seems like the entire galaxy is looking at me. That's why I include the galaxy as in those who are going to finally press play when they research all of our info that we're um, typing in. Whoever it is, some aliens, old Earthlings, modern day Earthlings, survivors of the New World, who knows? And so, because all the adults are Jews, and I let go after learning how to rhyme with a bunch of people, and I wanted to eat healthy. And then from there, since then, temptations that are not the same temptations as other pass me by. And been the only one that's been progressing since wanting to eat healthy food. And wanting to eat healthy food and then saving the world. I believed I was the chosen one, and I believed that that meant I'm going to save the world by writing a rhyme like so many others are doing right now. Usually they're in a heavy metal band, or they're an artist, or they're a musician, or they write a book or something. And I know how to do all of those things. And you look at them, they're still a Jew because a Jew doesn't know what they're doing anymore. They still have a remnant from their childhood, and they can only do a metal band. And they go on a tour, which is ridiculously abductive. They're abducted and sick in their bodies. They cannot let go of their pathway because they're a Jew. A Jew doesn't know what the hell is going on anymore. They're completely oblivious. They cannot speak to God anymore because they're still biting the apple, and they will not let go to join the tree of knowledge of good and evil, where they would meet or re-rendezvous with God like 1,000 years later after they learn what good and evil entails through their own evolutionary path, individually, as a whole, or whatever. Um, so uh, like I said, I figured out that I'm not a Jew anymore, and it's been 10 years, over 10 years since I've sprouted from that. And I basically, in this world, I know everything. I know how to do everything they're doing. Um, they're all really cripples from working only, and they don't know what the fuck is going on because they're Jews. And every child is a golden treasure, um, because of the potential in this moment on earth within the creation gateway that I'm sitting here holding wide open for the whole universe. Actually, the entire universe is able to visit earth and join me right now, and we can begin creation only, and build the and spark the seed of the universe. So uh, we're not just the product of a created universe from God, which is probably just some wizard dude who's got us in some sort of spell or whatever you want to call it. I'm not going to share details. I have a rhyme coming out that will explain all of that in one 30-minute rhyme. So I want you to think about this if you're reading this in the future. Are you a Jew still? It says that you're biting the apple, which is what God said don't do. Because if you disobey God, you need to learn the knowledge of good and evil. And good and evil knowledge is not good and evil knowledge. It's the three words that you don't use to learn knowledge of good and evil. Now, if you were to use language and you were to now obey God once more and be on your own, you would learn that knowledge of good and evil is an entire new tree, um, sitting underneath the tree of life. Obviously, the tree of life is something totally different, but in this world, we became Jews, and somehow you can let go of everything and continue in your within your intuition, intuitively persevere forward, idly, progressively, all those things. And then you know inside that creation exists. And creation is the only thing that matters for anyone and everyone, Period. Um, and you don't even need to know the tree of good and evil. You just need to figure out, why do we start laughing and calling each other Jews? You know, white people do that, Jewish people do that, black people do that. I mean, Arabs do that shit too. I mean, they just sit there and poke at the Jews down where all the other religious people hang out at the fucking Holy Land or whatever. You know, like, it's just a big Jew joke. Everyone's a Jew. Hitler wanted to kill all the Jews because he knew that, but he didn't get other things, or he would have been a success. Somehow the Jews from America were super buff because they're eating food and working in new land, and then they just lost. Or maybe he signed out and tapped out because he realized he didn't understand fully other aspects of the earth. Um, Obviously, he went for it, but he didn't go for creation. He went for getting rid of the Jews so we could pretend that there's no more Jews, which isn't real. You have to. Oh, it's explicitly, definitively, it's completely defined between Jew and obeying God. That's basically an ultimate. It's not an ultimatum. It's a or a polarity. It's a dichotomy. You got Jews. I mean, you look at the tree of life and you got dead people, walking dead people. That has nothing to do with it. There is no comparison. There is nothing to do with it. Those are two different distinguishings, two different distinct qualities. You know, you're not obeying God, the creator of this universe. There's a point to all of this, and you gotta be somewhere on the point. You cannot throw all your energy into some kind of, you know, stupid, dumb shit where it blacks you out and then you become a Jew. And that's what I'm saying. Jewish originally is about. That's their original point to their religion, and they don't really have another point. That's basically it. You know, it fuses with Christianity, and it ends with Revelations. So if you could find it in your intuition to somehow believe in yourself that you're, don't just believe that you're the chosen one. You have to actually, like, get excited that you yourself one day is going to save the world. You're going to save everyone all by yourself. Like, I'm not just some motivational speech telling you this. Like, this is an actual thing that exists in every single life form. The bird, the fucking bee, all of it. Everything is the chosen one. You're not alone. But you are human, and you have mobility, you have language, and you have food. And everything is counting on you, so you actually are the chosen one. And you can make it. All you have to do, you don't have to figure out how to not be a Jew. That's not going to work. You have to let go and figure out the point of everything, and just, like, kind of like let it all just happen. You just gotta let it happen. You can't force yourself into a job. It's all set up for you to be a Jew, basically. Whoever made up all this shit is a Jew. We call it double Jew or triple Jew. They're big, swollen knot people who know they're Jews, but they be like turned into like a giant nutcracker Jew with like extra casings of being a Jew. And they're so strong that they just make all the little Jews scurry around. Um, so you got to figure out how to break that last nutshell, and just walking around complete. You're gonna have a moment. You have to try to find that moment where you're just um, completely innocent, basically, because we were circumcised, or if you weren't more circumcised, you're still poisoned. You're still tempted with drugs and all kinds of, and porno and hardcore sex. Come on, fornication with junk food. That's not a real temptation. That's basically murdering your system. Uh, so you shut down. So you're shut down and you're numb. So you got that little taste of some kind of chosen one experience, and you got to stick to that. That should be your faith, not a religion. Even if you're religious or not religious, doesn't matter what your belief is. You got to stay. Um, you got to stay tasting that. You got to like taste it in the air, kind of as a metaphor. The true path is just basically not being a Jew. You got to start there, and that's why we haven't eradicated Jewish people and Christians and Muslims as when a regular man comes out or a teenager and they realize how stupid religious people are and how annoying it is. They're not wrong, but it's the point of the religion, the beginning of the religion, not the religious and the people and all that other stuff, but the very beginning of it and why it's there is why no one has woken up any more than, let's say, Hitler or something. You know, they didn't really actually wake up. They just became the anger of the people. Becoming the wrath of the people, and when there's too many Jews kill each other just like anyone else would, because it's sick and diseased, and that's just what happens. If you don't kill each other, then you'll turn into diseases and you'll die off and kill everything with you and give everything else diseases. It's just a fact, because Jews don't know how to live. They're just Jews. They don't know how to live because they're disobeying God. And it's not about life, or this moment isn't about life on this video. It's about the creator of the universe, the entire bigger picture. And you have to no matter what kind of type of person, even if you're a bad person or you're a good person, if you can stay that little tiny point that you can feel it deep inside, that's not like your soul or anything else. It's just the creator of the universe saying you have to obey that point of the factors of all this stuff is. That's why Christianity took over the Judaism, because they came out with the Son of God, and they claimed that the Son of God was God. He came down to earth, or he snapped his fingers and impregnated a woman, and that guy was Son of God. So he knew the exact equation of the universe. Let's say he knows the exact equation of the universe, and maybe he became a Jew, and because he became a Jew, it made everyone sick, because he's the Son of God, and we made him a Jew. Let's get rid of him, and they crucified him. So it's just two confessions in a row that they do want to behave and repent logically in their head with language, but they're not doing it. All you got to do is let go of everything right now. We're at Judgment Day at this point on Earth, and it's our last chance. I'm here with you to help you. You can even be a Jew. You can stay being a Jew if you want, as long as we begin creation. Creation will bring you out of it some way, somehow. It's not about Jews. It's not about life anymore. It's about creation, and all we have to do is begin it now. And if you're an alien from outer space, you can come down right now. If you could just we can put you a disguise on you, give you a beard, whatever. We can have fun with it, and we can begin creation. Because me going around by myself telling everyone I'm the creator, which I eventually will do in the near future, is probably not going to work, because they're completely oblivious, because the Jews poison each other, they beat each other up, they're lost in their own little world, they're completely, their surroundings are gone. They transform all surroundings into a Jew's frustration. A frustrated Jew is illegal, because they don't know what the fuck is going on. They don't know what they're doing, because they fell out of obedience. They don't obey. So, and yeah, you can skip all of those stuff right now, because we have a globalized planet and we can start creation right now. That's what I'm saying. So now that you know what a Jew is, you know that you can start doing that now, or you can start somehow finding me, and however you do that, the best way is in person, through the internet, and link with me somehow possibly, so we can begin creation. Even if you're an old ancient god, if you're Zeus himself, walk over here, come through a portal. If you're a goblin, if you're a fucking cryptid, I don't give a shit what you are. If you're a mortal child pack vampires who eat people, who gives a shit? If you're the fucking Leviathan sea monster of all sea monsters, get your ass down here and join me so we can do this, because this chance doesn't come along for another 100 million years, is what I'm trying to tell you. This is serious shit. All right? Like, if we don't do this now, everyone's toast. We're all toast. I'm going to make it because I'm already beginning creation, but I will not make it for another 100 million years. I will be some remnant while you're some Jew incarnate. Like, you'll have to find out how to not be a Jew all on your own, somewhere in heaven, because we can't begin creation. That's not fun. All we have to do is begin creation now. That's the point of the universe. All right. Truth before the truth.